Hey, it's Roshida, and I'm here to tell you about what I wish I knew before I spent a month in Dakar, Senegal. Now, this video is for two groups of people. People who are bopping around and are going to be in Dakar for more than a week, right? And people who are going to be who are just moving to Dakar. If you're just moving to Dakar, these are things you need to know. If you've been there long term, these things don't really matter to you because you know these things. And if you're there for a week, I hope you're with a tour guide that can help you out with a lot of these things. And you're staying in a hotel, so you don't need help with a lot of these things. But otherwise, baby, these are some things you should know because they make the experience of being in the city just a little bit harder for people who don't know them. And so I want to help you out and tell you them because a lot of my experience was challenging. It's not like I'm saying Dakar is a hard city, or it's not like me saying it's a bad city. I'm not saying those things. I'm saying that without knowing certain things, it was challenging for me. So let's talk about these things. The first is actually, surprisingly, it made it easier for me. I didn't need to speak Wolof or French the entire month I was there. There were some times where, like with taxi drivers, I couldn't explain myself completely. I used the translation app. We were okay. But I thought I was going to have a much harder time not speaking the local languages than I actually did. Next on the list, the city was more expensive than I imagined. I live in Mexico City. I don't live in the US. So and I've lived here for years, so my price comparison is to things in Mexico. And I will say that every single thing was more expensive in Dakar than it is for me in Mexico. Every single thing, except for getting my hair braided. Getting my hair braided was less expensive there, but it wasn't like, you know, people are like, I went to Ghana and I got my hair braided for $30. No, I think I paid like 130-ish to get my hair braided. They were cute. And it's less than I would pay in Mexico. But, right? Like the price of food, the price of rides around town, everything was more expensive. I didn't love that. But you know, vacation, ball out, whatever. These next ones are all gonna kind of flow into each other. I need you to flow with me. Most of the city, most people expect you to have an account with an electronic money company, some company that is e-money. Orange was one of the more popular ones when I was there, because even though it's mostly a cash society, it's not a like physical cash society, it's a digital cash society. And without having an Orange account, I had a really, really hard time simply paying for things. I would go to places to pay and they'd be like, I ain't got no change. I don't change, we don't change. Change, we don't change. Like with physical, like I could go to the ATM and get physical money, but I went to, one day I think I hit 4 ATMs and none of them had money. So getting money out of the ATMs was also a problem. Let's add that to the list. Getting cash was an issue. But when I had the cash and I went to pay, because I didn't want to go through the hassle of setting up an electronic money account, because I've heard that if there's a problem, it can take months to resolve and you have to resolve it in person. I'm only gonna be here for a month. I don't have months to resolve. If you take money out, I don't have months to come back to the office to keep trying to resolve it. So what do we do, right? I'm just out that money. So, and it may not be true that you need to be there, but that's what I was told, and that's what information I was working with. But y'all know how customer service is. So I was pretty sure I would need to, if there was an issue, I would need to actually show up in someone's face to get it resolved. Electronic money, couldn't get change anywhere. Nowhere. I'd be in a taxi or a rideshare and they'd be like, I don't have change. I'm like, well, we're gonna drive around till you get it, baby. Like, what are we, like, you need to ask, like, you drive for a living and people are paying you with money why don't you have money to get? No one had, I went to a restaurant and to pay, and I went to pay, and they're like, we don't have change. And they didn't take cards. They're like, I don't have change. So I was like, okay, and it was a place I was going frequently. They were like, oh, just come back and pay us tomorrow. They'd rather not get paid today than figure out a change situation. I was like, this is all very interesting and new to me. Okay, so electronic money ruled there. Change was not available in most places. So if you're gonna be there for a month or two, I honestly, it would have been much easier for me if I had an Orange Money account. Another part of the challenges there was that written addresses or street addresses weren't really a thing. They weren't really reliable. So you had to describe to people how to find you or where to take you, all that stuff. Which is challenging if you don't know the streets. It's challenging if you don't know the neighborhoods. It's challenging if you can't be like, turn right at the monument, go down 6 blocks, turn the left at the big orange house, and then, right? Like, when I was going to get my hair braided, the woman sent me, like, I guess she sent it to everybody, a map. Like, here's a map. And then it was like, you turn right at the pharmacy, you go 2 blocks, blah, 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 blah. Here's the map. Now, she had a street address, but the street addresses just aren't relied on like that, I guess because they aren't always right. Or I don't know why, but they were like, this is how you find it. So that worked then. But for things like, I took a ride sharing company frequently because we need to talk about the taxis. We don't get there. But with the ride sharing company, it was just like an Uber, except you paid cash or you didn't, right? And so with the ride sharing company, it was called Heetch, H-E-E-T-C-H. I took them a lot. They would always try to contact me to be like, are you where it says, like, there's a point on, just like with Uber, like there's a point on the map. Like it says I'm at this point. I have told you I'm at this point. And they always want to call you and be like, are you actually there? I'm like, yeah, yes, I am, right? Because I want to get picked up as much as you want to pick me up. Let's make this happen. Now the problem that stemmed from that is I didn't have a Senegalese number, so a lot of them couldn't call me or wouldn't use WhatsApp to call me because they couldn't call me through the app, or they wouldn't call me through the app on my US number. And I realized after a while there was an expectation that I would have a Senegalese number, even though I was only there for a month. And I eventually did buy a SIM card at Orange. They sell SIM cards and they do e-money. The expectation that you had a Senegalese number was high. One driver actually yelled at me, voices raised. Why don't you have a Senegalese phone number? And I was like, I'm on vacation. Yelled. And he kept going off about me not having a Senegalese number, and he had to drive all this way. Wasn't sure. Yelled at me for not having a Senegalese phone number. I went to the hospital once, and the man was like, why don't you have a Senegalese phone number? And I'm like, I don't live here. I don't live here. That's why. Why is this? Like, also at the hospital, I'm adding this to the list. It wasn't on the video. Just because someone says they will take credit cards does not mean they will take credit cards. I got to the hospital, sign on the door, says they accept Visa. I went to pay. Within sight at the front desk is right by the we accept Visa sign. You can see it. It's like maybe 10 feet away. And he was like, no, our machine's broken. You have to pay cash. And I was like, I don't have cash on me. He's like, well, why not? You have Orange Money? And I was like, I don't have electronic money. I don't have cash on me right now for the amount of his hospital visit. It says you accept credit card. He's like, well, our machine's broken. So I had to leave my passport and walk to the ATM on a day where I was feeling very, very bad, and come back with cash. Challenges. let's talk about the rideshare service. I was taking the rideshare because taxis would be like, I'm going to charge you 10 times the price we charge locals for the same ride. I'd ridden with enough local people who would live there, but I knew what things should cost. And every time I talked to a taxi, the number just had no relation. The number had no relation at all to what the price was supposed to be. And I'm like, I'm not doing this, right? Like, let me do a rideshare where I know what the price is going to be. And even if you're charging me more, like I can see in advance what it's going to be. At one point where me and the taxi driver, and I had not agreed in advance about what the price was supposed to be, I paid him what the locals would pay. I know, because I've done this ride. I know what the locals pay. I've done this ride with a local. I know what their locals pay. I paid him what the locals pay. Screamed. This man screamed at me that I needed to pay him. I think that time it was like 4 times as much. And then he told a man who he didn't know. He didn't know this man. He told a man he didn't know to stop me and prevent me from getting out of his car because I needed to pay him. And the man tried to stop me. The man who had no dog in this fight. The man who had no dog in this fight attempted to stop me from proceeding because the taxi driver told him to. There's something I experienced in Senegal with the men there that was it's a very, very male dominant society. And so a man who you don't know and is not involved in the interaction has no problem telling you what you need to do and trying to physically stop you, like get in your way and stop you. If you don't get in my face, because he's not getting no more money and you just gonna get some heartache from this. You just gonna get a headache and some heartache from us, like preventing me from moving on, because he got paid. I think I paid him twice as much and he wanted 4 times as much. I paid him twice as much what the locals would do. He already got paid enough money. I know what the locals pay. He got paid more than enough. And now you try to stop me from moving? Pump your brakes, baby. But yes, there was the idea that like, I should be allowed to go and do whatever. You know, not like that strange man felt like he had dominance over me and could tell me what I needed to do when he wasn't involved at all. And he didn't know who was right and who was wrong, right? He had no way of knowing what I paid the guy and what the guy was saying he wanted to pay. He just said, you need to go back. You need, like, you don't know any of the numbers involved. You don't know how far I went. You don't know what I paid, but you jump it in the middle. Okay. I'm not paying no more. I'm not reaching in my purse again. So, beloved, step aside. But that kind of thing where it's like small moments like that where like the masculine energy was not what I was looking for all around. So that's why I wasn't taking taxis. Let's get back to the Heech and then we're gonna get back to the men. The Heech, I would order one, it would cancel. I'd order one, it'd cancel. I'd order one, it would take 20 minutes, it would cancel. And the drivers, I realized, were attempting to call me, and I had a US number registered on Heech. And I didn't know, but when I registered, I didn't realize having a Senegalese number was a difference maker. So if you have a Senegalese number, put that in Heech. When they couldn't reach me, they'd cancel. And then when they could reach me, and I can't speak French or Wolof, because like in person, I could work it out. We could act, we could do some things, I could use Google Translate. In person, on the phone, they want to know how to get to the point on the map where the app is telling you how to get exactly where I am. There's no conversation we can have that's gonna make this better. The app is showing you, I know where I am. I know the app is showing you exactly where I am. The app is showing you exactly where I am. There's no single conversation we can have over the phone in multi-languages that's going to give you better directions than the app. Trust me, baby, like trust me. Please. But over and over again, that would happen and there was just nothing I could do about it. So even rideshare apps were difficult because then you get in and they wouldn't have change and they want you to pay orange money or the other company whose name I don't remember. So yes, like I I do the rideshare to avoid crazy prices from taxi drivers. And then the rideshare would be like, either wouldn't come get me, or like a lot of times they didn't move at all. You would order it, they would accept the ride, and they wouldn't move at all. It'd be like looking at a guy sitting still for like 15 minutes, messaging him like, hey, are you on your way? And he's like, yeah, I'm stuck in traffic. And I'm like, I know where you are. I can see where you are on the map. I can look on Google and see how much traffic there is. There's no reason your car hasn't moved in 15 minutes. None. There's no reason. Except that you're not coming. And I don't know if you're trying to get me to cancel, so you get a fee. I don't know what you're doing, but patience, patience. Things like frequently rides that were like, I'm going 15 minutes away, I would leave an hour in. Honestly, to go 15 minutes away, I would start the process to leave an hour in advance. Sometimes I'd end up somewhere 30 minutes early. Sometimes I'd end up somewhere late. Even starting an hour early, asking for rideshare drivers to come. A mess. All right. So with the Hitch drivers, I got yelled at for not having a Senegalese phone number. They wanted me to walk them through how to get to there, even though the app was clear, and then they never had change. So transportation was a problem. And yes, if I knew putting my Senegalese number in Hitch would have made it easier, I would have done that in advance. But putting my Senegalese number in there isn't easier. If I can't, even if I understood everything you were saying on the phone, I understand some stuff, but even if I understood everything, I can't give you directions to where I am because I don't know, like the app, I'm using the app because it's supposed to solve these problems. I can't say turn left at the big pink house because I don't know. I can't tell you, you know, just come to where I am on the app, please, please. Tinder. I have never been in a country with more fake accounts, ever. I tend to open up Tinder. I'm not a big fan. I don't like strangers. Y'all know this. I don't really like strangers. But if most of the accounts I saw on Tinder didn't have real photos. It was like cartoons or a photo of a car or an ocean or a sunset or something. And then when I match with someone, they'd be like, oh, I know my name, on my profile it says my name is Joe, but my name is really Tony, you know, or some version of that. Well, I'd be like, why is your name? Everybody had a fake photo. If they didn't have, I didn't match anybody who didn't have like a photo of a face. It may not have been their face, but there was a photo of a face. And even with photos of faces, they were like, that's not my name. I gave my phone number to a Hitch driver once, and he was so aggressive. So aggressive. So aggressive. After he got my phone number, I blocked him. He messaged me through another number. And it was clear through all of his aggressiveness, he wanted money for sex. I don't even want to have sex with you. Like, maybe coffee. Maybe maybe we could have a drink together, maybe. But you are clearly letting it known you want to be paid for sex. And he clearly let it know because it's something he does frequently. But my theory is if you are regularly giving your body away, as a man, giving your body away to these old French women who come to Senegal for sex, baby, if you were good enough, For me to pay you for sex, if you were good enough for me to pay you for sex, you would not be out here begging people to pay you for sex. Because some woman, because you're telling me you've done this before. Someone would lock you down already. Some old woman would have locked you down and been sending you money all this time, but it hasn't happened, which tells me even if I was into paying men for sex, it wouldn't be you. It wouldn't be you. Nothing about this says that you're a professional. You seem like an amateur. Get off my phone. I have blocked you. I can block you again. I went to Senegal to take surfing lessons, which is why I was there for a month. I wanted to be fully immersed in it. I'm gonna tell you, that ocean ain't no punk. That ocean, was like, your ancestors survived this, but you might not, right? I was like, what? Every day I went out, the ocean was a magnificent hater. Like, just stupendous, unrepentant, legitimately trying to drown me every day. So I'm gonna tell you, if you go there for water sports, be prepared. Be prepared, because she's not here for your reindeer games. All right, that's it. I hope you guys have a great time in Senegal. I would definitely say you should go check it out. Dakar was lovely, but there were things I could have done, I could have known to make it easier in advance for myself, and I wanted you to know them. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe, give this video a like, and then I'll see you next time.